If I asked you to think of a small all-wheel drive performance car, what comes to mind? Maybe something iconic like a Volkswagen Golf R or a Subaru WRX? How about a Lexus? Bet that wasn't on your bingo card. Me neither. But that's exactly what this is. Say hello to the Lexus LBX Morizo RR. And no, I'm not trying to be a pirate, it's just what it's called. And you know what? This little pocket rocket might be exactly what Lexus needs in its lineup right now. So what exactly is the Lexus LBX Morizo RR? Well, you've got the regular LBX, which is the other small SUV that sits in Lexus's lineup alongside the UX. But this is the performance flagship of the LBX range. The other LBX models are hybrid only and they start around $47,000. This model was co-developed by Akio Toyoda himself, the chairman of Toyota and Lexus. Now, when Akio goes racing, he uses the alias Morizo, hence the name. But how much does this model cost compared to its rivals and compared to the other models in the LBX range?
The Morizo RR is priced at $76,490 before on-road costs, and that's about 20 grand more than the next grade down, which is a hybrid sports luxury all-wheel drive. But the Morizo is an extra special model, so that makes sense. Purely looking at SUVs, rivals could include the Volkswagen T-Roc R or the BMW X1 M35i, and the LBX sits somewhere between the two. Yes, it's a pricey tiny SUV, but it's not as pricey as some of its competitors. For that money, you get leather accented sports seats, aluminium pedals, 19-inch forged aluminium wheels, a 9.8-inch multimedia touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, sat-nav, a 12.3-inch digital driver display, dual-zone climate control, powered tailgate, heated front seats, and more. For the full specs, head to the written review at carsguide.com.au.
I'm a big fan of the LBX design. I loved it when I first saw it a couple of years ago, and I'm still a big fan. I really like what Lexus has done with the design of the Morizo specifically. Obviously, they wanted to differentiate it from the regular LBX, but the good thing is they haven't done too much. It doesn't look like an AMG 45 compared to the regular A-Class, for example. It's subtle, but classy. So at the front, you get a different grille, an entirely different front end, in fact, compared to the regular LBX. And that's largely due to the powertrain because it needs a little bit more airflow, so they've got bigger air intakes at the front. And it's also nicely blacked out. The grille looks really, really sexy from the front and a little bit aggressive. It's got these lovely 19-inch Continental tyres, and of course you've got these very nice black wheels, and there's a beautiful pop of red from those lovely calipers as well. This particular example, of course, is the two-tone. You can see the black roof with this lovely white paint. That goes for the mirrors as well. There's nice little black highlights here on the door handles as well. And it's quite interesting, this car, because it's sort of a car in two halves. The front half is based on Lexus and Toyota's TNGA platform, the very, very small one. And the rear half is based on one size above it, which is also what is used for the GR models from Toyota. And if you look at it from rear on, you can see it's a little bit wider at the back and it looks quite sexy. So yeah, big fan of the design of this little car. In terms of interior design, Lexus has differentiated the Morizo from the regular LBX in a couple of ways. The obvious thing is the red stitching that is everywhere and looks really nice. It's here on this real leather steering wheel, and there is maximum use of whatever Lexus calls its version of synthetic suede, which feels really, really lovely. In terms of the overall dash design, it's not going to win any design awards. It's very simple. There's definitely a premium element to it, but you know, there's a level of functionality as well. So the seating position is pretty easy. Find a good one in this car. Everything is adjustable, and these seats are really lovely. When I first sat in them, I thought, oh, is it a little bit firm? But I've spent a good few hours driving this car today, and they are not. There is a lot of bolstering, but it doesn't hug you in ways some other brands, hello BMW, do. It still allows a bit of give, but they're really comfortable. In terms of other practicalities, up the front, you've got an I think it's a phone holder, but I put my phone in here and it moved around a little bit. But if you want to avoid that, you can put it here where the actual phone holder is, which is also doubling as a wireless charger in this grade. There is a cup holder here, and if you slide this back, there's another cup holder here, which is very neat. And then you open that up and it's a deep but narrow little cubby under there. If you want more space, you've got it under the console here, and of course you can fit smaller bottles in the door cavity, not enormous ones. It's a really nice little steering wheel. There's enough room up the front here, you certainly don't feel hemmed in, but let's have a look at the rear. Now, in fairness to the Lexus LBX, it is a very small car or SUV or whatever you want to call it. So as you can see, I'm sitting behind my 6-foot tall driving position and I don't have a huge amount of leg room. Good amount of toe room, not a huge amount of leg room. So would I want to spend an enormous amount of time on a road trip in this car? Probably not, but it could be worse. It does also, however, have quite a bit of headroom. Again, 6 foot tall and I'm not even scraping the roof there of the headliner, so that's good. Room across is not enormous either. You wouldn't want really to have 3 people in the back here. That might be a bit much, particularly adults. 2 kids at most occasionally. In terms of amenities, it's missing a couple of things here. You do get USB-C ports, 2 of them down there, and you do get map pockets as well. There are also bottle storage holes in the door, but they're quite small and they're not going to fit much, to be honest. But there's no rear air vents and there's no folding center armrest with cup holders or to put your arm or anything like that. So, what about the LBX Morizo's boot? Well, this will be brief because it's pretty small. So the Morizo has 266 litres of capacity, and as you can see, it's quite shallow. You know, you'll be able to get probably a suitcase in here or a couple of duffel bags and that kind of thing, but you'd have to fold the 60/40 split fold seats down to get much more in. Now, if you do damage one of those 19-inch Continental tyres, unfortunately you don't have any form of spare wheel. It is just a tyre repair kit.
Powering the LBX Morizo RR is Toyota's brilliant 1.6 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder petrol engine, which is the same unit found in the GR Corolla and Yaris hot hatches. The Lexus loses some power and torque compared with those models, so the outputs are 206 kilowatts and 390 newton meters. This engine is paired with an 8-speed torque converter auto, and the little Lexus has electrically controlled all-wheel drive with a Torsen limited slip differential. You can race from 0 to 100 kilometers in just 5.2 seconds in the LBX. While the hybrid versions of the LBX are known for their fuel efficiency, it's less of a focus for the Morizo RR performance model. The little SUV has an official fuel use figure of 9.2 litres per 100 kilometres. That's more than twice the usage of the hybrids.
To say that this is an insanely fun car to drive is a massive understatement. I'm driving in Victoria's Yarra Ranges and I just went through some very twisty, amazing roads, probably some of the best driving roads I've ever experienced. And it's the perfect environment to see what this LBX Morizo RR can do. And you know what? It can do a lot. There's so much to like about this little car, I don't even know where to start. So, you know, the compact dimensions, the chassis, everything, it just feels so tight on the road. You just don't feel like there's too much car. I love this sort of thing. I love a little hot hatch. I know it's a small SUV technically, but, you know, for argument's sake, let's just say hot hatch. It's just the perfect size for this sort of driving, in my opinion. This engine is just an absolute sweetheart. Now, obviously it's got a few less kilowatts of power and a fewer newton meters of torque than the GR models from Toyota, but I don't think that matters. And honestly, you'd have to do a back-to-back comparison with one of those models to really notice the difference. But it certainly doesn't lose anything in terms of inline performance. And it's got such a lovely note, this engine as well. It's a joy to listen to. And if you pop it in sport mode, you get even more of that engine note, and you do get a little bit more urgency when accelerating. And it's definitely a true sport mode. A lot of them are a bit, sport in name only, but you can definitely feel a little bit of extra kick when you switch it across. But also, just regular mode in this little car is more than enough for me. Now, the 8-speed transmission that is paired with this lovely engine is a torque converter. Pretty sharp shifts, but if you're missing the fact that there is no manual gearbox, you can of course engage manual mode pretty easily. The steering of this thing is so sharp, it's just point and shoot, but there's enough kind of heft there to give it a little bit of engagement, and you can really just feel it so connected to the road, this car. I do like an all-wheel drive hot hatch or small performance car, whatever you want to call it. I just like the confidence that brings to the drive experience. For me, I feel more confident punting this car into a tight bend, and there's more of a chance that I'm going to come out of it on the other side. Whether that's false confidence, I don't know. But this car in particular, I mean, I have, again, driven some of the twistiest roads I've ever experienced, and at no point did this feel like it was going to come unstuck. It just feels so connected to the road and grip for days. Oh my god. Yeah, no slip at all. It just is built for this sort of driving. Lexus talks about the fact that this is an everyday performance car, and I think that's Lexus's MO when it comes to performance cars in general. I remember that with models like the sadly departed RCF and some of their V8 powered things. They're still, there's ample performance on tap there, but you can live with it every day. They know that the Lexus buyer wants that level of comfort. It's not brutal, it's not going to break your back, you're not going to have to go to the chiropractor after you drive it, and they've absolutely built that into the LBX Morizo RR. It is something you could 100% drive around town as your daily driver in a very fun way, but then on a weekend take it somewhere like this and find a road like this. The roads we're driving this thing on are far from perfect. Quite the opposite, in fact. Lots of potholes, lots of corrugations. Whoa, there's a massive one. It is a perfect way to showcase the ride quality of this car. And again, that comes back to this everyday performance car, the livability of this. It has handled everything that's kind of been thrown at it really well. Of course, bigger potholes and that kind of thing, you're definitely going to feel it, but it's not going to break your back like some of this car's competitors will. See, twisty bends, it just eats this stuff up.
ANCAP awarded the hybrid versions of the LBX a maximum 5-star rating in 2024, but the turbo-petrol Morizo is unrated. The standard safety list is lengthy and includes auto emergency braking with pedestrian, cyclist and motorcyclist detection, adaptive cruise control and a front centre airbag. There's a much longer list of features over at my written review at carsguide.com.au. Lexus covers the LBX Morizo RR with its 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, and there's capped price servicing for 5 years at a cost of $695 a service. The schedule for servicing is tight at every 6 months or 10,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first, so you'll be at the dealership a bit with this one. The Lexus Encore Owner Benefits program includes some cool stuff too, like valet parking at certain places, and you can even swap your Lexus for a different model for a set amount of time. You also get access to events and venues and special offers at hotels and restaurants.
So, what's the verdict on the Lexus LBX Morizo RR? Is Akio Toyota's toy actually any good? Honestly, yeah, it's pretty good. There is so much to like about this little package, but for me, the best thing about it is its flexibility. Do you want an urban runabout that's premium and lovely and all that kind of stuff? Or do you want something that you can throw around a corner in the bush on the weekend? Why not both? For more on the Lexus LBX, head to carsguide.com.au.